In 1227, the largest land empire the world had ever seen was in the hands of a single man. This man was born clutching a blood clot in his fist. In his childhood, his father was poisoned to death. In his youth, he was taken prisoner, his neck bound to an iron rod. His wife was kidnapped. Yet despite all of this, or perhaps because of it, this man changed the course of history. His name was Genghis Khan, and this is his story. The Genghis Khan known to history was born in 1162 in the territory of present-day Mongolia, on the banks of the Onon River. His birth name was Temujin. His father, Yesugei, was the chief of a small but powerful Mongol clan. His mother, Hualun, had been abducted from a neighboring Merkate tribe and made Yesugei's wife. When Temujin came into the world, he held a clot of blood in his palm. In Mongol tradition, this sign meant a great warrior had been born. When he was 9 years old, Yesugei took his son to the neighboring conqueror tribe to arrange a marriage. Along the way, they encountered an old enemy clan. Yesugei was invited in as a guest, and he ate and drank, but poison had been added to the food. On his way back after leaving Temujin at the home, he fell ill on the road and died a few days later. Temujin was just 9 years old, and now he was alone. When his father died, the clan abandoned his mother and siblings. They were left behind, in the middle of the steppe, in winter, with nothing. Hualun fed her children on wild berries and roots. She did everything to survive. These years prepared Temujin step by step. Hunger, loneliness, and abandonment made him both ruthless and someone who placed extreme value on loyalty. Throughout his life, he rewarded faithful companions and never forgave betrayal. In his youth, he had a dispute over food with his half-brother Begter. Temujin and his brother Kasar killed Begter with an arrow. This was Temujin's first killing. He was barely 12 years old. Shortly afterward, the Taichiut, an old enemy clan, staged a raid and captured Temujin. His neck was bound to a wooden rod. He was held captive for months. But one night, with the help of a guard, he managed to escape. He jumped into the Onon River and waded in the water for hours. This captivity gave Temujin both shame and strength. From that day on, he was never taken prisoner again. Marriage and first battle. Temujin married Borte at the age of 16. Borte was an intelligent, strong, and loyal woman. Temujin truly loved her. This marriage brought him not only a wife, but also his first political alliance. Borte's family and connections played a critical role in Temujin's rise to power. But their happiness was short-lived. The Merkate tribe, seeking revenge for Yesugei's abduction of Hualun years earlier, launched a raid. Borte was kidnapped. This was both a personal disaster and a political test for Temujin. Temujin formed an alliance with his childhood friend Jamuka and the powerful Karaite Khan Togrul. He raided the Merkate tribe and rescued Borte. This victory made Temujin's name known across the steppe, but when Borte was rescued, she was pregnant. Questions about the paternity of his first son Jochi never went away. Temujin accepted Jochi as his own son, but this ambiguity shadowed Jochi's life and legacy. The rise, unification of the steppe. The rescue of Borte consolidated Temujin's power. Warriors began joining him, but on the steppe, power could not be won by battle alone. Intelligence, strategy, and alliances were also necessary. Temujin dismantled the intertribal system. In the traditional Mongol system, people were loyal to their own clans. Temujin changed this. He shifted loyalty from the clan to himself. He took skilled warriors into his ranks, regardless of which tribe they came from. He rewarded loyalty. He punished betrayal. The greatest turning point was the break with his childhood friend Jamuka. The two had been allies for many years. But power was not something that could be shared. In the 1190s, the tension between them turned to war. In the first major clash, Jamuka won. and had Temujin's men boiled alive in cauldrons. But this savagery drove people away from Jamukha and toward Temujin. Because Temujin had justice, Jamukha had only cruelty. After years of struggle in 1206, Temujin united all the Mongol clans under one roof. At a great assembly gathered on the banks of the Onon River, he was given the title Genghis Khan. He was now the mighty ruler, but this was only the beginning. The conquests. The world trembles. Genghis Khan's army was unlike any army of its time. First and foremost, it was fast. Mongol cavalry could move at speeds unimaginable to European or Chinese armies. They could march over 100 kilometers in a single day. Second was the discipline. The decimal system, organized into units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, created a perfectly coordinated army structure. Third was psychological warfare. Genghis Khan left cities that surrendered unharmed. Cities that resisted, he razed to the ground. This strategy worked. The next city would most often surrender without fighting. In 1211, he crossed the Great Wall of China and attacked the Jin dynasty. After years of war, northern China largely fell into Mongol hands. Then he turned west. The Khwarezmian Empire was one of the most powerful states in the Islamic world at the time. Genghis Khan sent envoys for a trade and peace agreement. Sultan Muhammad of Khwarezm massacred the Mongol envoys. This was one of the greatest mistakes in history. Genghis Khan moved in fury. In 1219, he marched against the Khwarezmians. Samarkand fell, Bukhara fell, Merv fell. In every city, the same scene played out. Those who resisted were annihilated. Those who surrendered were spared. Sultan Muhammad fled. He died alone and in misery on a small island in the Caspian Sea. The Mongol Empire, the greatest in the world. By the 1220s, Genghis Khan was master of a vast empire stretching from the shores of the Pacific to the Caspian Sea. But Genghis Khan was not merely a conqueror. His empire had religious freedom. Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, and shamanists lived side by side. No one was killed for their faith. He established a law system called the Yasa. Everyone was required to comply with these laws, including the Khan himself. He opened and protected trade routes. The Silk Road during the era of Genghis Khan became the safest trade route in history. According to one account, a tray full of gold could be carried from one end of the empire to the other without a single guard. He brought an alphabet to the Mongols, who had no writing system. He adopted the Uyghur alphabet. He established a postal system. Thanks to horse relay stations, messages reached every corner of the empire swiftly. Death and mystery. In 1227, Genghis Khan died during the Western Xia campaign, but how he died remains a mystery to this day. According to one account, he fell from a horse and suffered internal injuries. Other accounts say he died of illness. Some sources claim a captured Zaya princess killed him. Whatever the truth, his death was kept secret. The funeral procession killed everyone it encountered along the way. The location of his grave was hidden. Horses were ridden over it. Trees were planted. To this day, his tomb has never been found. According to legend, a tremendous treasure lies over his grave. Dozens of archaeologists and treasure hunters have been searching for centuries. No one has found it. When Genghis Khan died, his descendants expanded the empire even further. Kublai Khan conquered China and founded the Yuan dynasty. Hulagu Khan sacked Baghdad and put an end to the Abbasid Caliphate. The Golden Horde held Russia under its dominion for 200 years. Genghis Khan's legacy was not only political, but biological as well. Genetic research shows that approximately 0.5% of the world's population today, roughly 40 million people, are descended from Genghis Khan. No human being in history has left behind as many descendants. On one side, 40 million dead. On the other, 40 million descendants. It is impossible to define Genghis Khan with a single word, because he was one of the most complex figures in history. On one side, a barbarian responsible for the deaths of millions. On the other, a leader who brought religious freedom, opened trade routes, and established a legal system. Genghis Khan came into the world as a poor and ownerless child in a small clan on the Mongol steppe. His father was poisoned, his family abandoned, he himself taken captive. Yet despite all of this, he built the greatest land empire history has ever seen. And when he died, not even his grave could be found. So do you think Genghis Khan was the greatest leader in history or history's greatest destroyer? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.